Coming up on Mountain News at 6, new data shows a massive increase in child poverty rates in the United States, how local groups are working to make sure kids do not go hungry in the Commonwealth. And the state is mourning the loss of former Governor Brereton Jones. We'll look back on the impact he had on the horse industry.
Plus, we are tracking a stretch of dry weather as high pressure lingers. Those details coming up as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
New census data shows that child poverty increased this past year. In fact, the rate more than doubled. With Hunger Action Month also underway, local food banks and other organizations in the state are sharing ways that you can help. Julia Sanders spoke to those agencies who say this is an ongoing issue.
It's like a warning light on your dashboard that other things are going to go wrong if we don't get this fixed.
Executive Director for Kentucky Youth Advocates, Terry Brooks, says child poverty grew over the past year.
If economic well-being for families is improving, those other indicators in health, family security, education are going to be on the uptick. If economic well-being is on the decline, those others are going to follow in the same trajectory.
At Feeding America, they say poverty and hunger can often go hand in hand.
Food insecurity does range throughout our state. On average, it's 1 in 8 kids, 1 in 7 people in general. But at our highest, it's 1 in 4 in Fulton County, Kentucky.
And while Kentucky Youth Advocates and Feeding America say that it's important to get the word out through advocacy, they say it's also important to do so with policy.
What the national track record on this is that a state earned income tax credit helps families. It actually helps local economies because the money is spent locally. And in the long term, it actually helps the state budget.
In 2022, Kentucky Youth Advocates data showed that there were nearly 200,000 children living in poverty in the Commonwealth. Caitlin Jackson with Feeding America says sometimes these issues are hidden.
It's the people that live right next to you. We have a lot of people that are food insecure that you wouldn't imagine.
In Lexington, Julia Sandor, WKYT.
Data from the U.S. Census says the child poverty rate is at 12.4%. The Biden administration has awarded a $5 million grant to Kentucky to help connect people who lost employment during the COVID-19 pandemic with new jobs. The Department of Labor is focusing on connecting displaced workers with jobs in infrastructure, environmental work, and caring for children and the elderly. This is part of a larger grant program that is awarding more than $57 million to 12 different states.
If we ensure that individuals, particularly individuals that are disproportionately impacted, can move from the sidelines to good career path, that again presents a greater opportunities for everyone.
The project is estimated to help 10,000 displaced workers across the country. Some of the other states near our area receiving part of the grant are Ohio and Tennessee. Mohawk Energy in Letcher County is now operating. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox tells us how the company is bringing a different kind of work structure to the area.
More than 200 jobs will be added with the opening of Mohawk Energy. Beyond hiring, company officials look to be a leader in the technology sector while helping nearby communities.
It's sort of a transition from coal to tech, and part of that is mining.
Mohawk leaders say they have enough power to keep lights on across eastern Kentucky. Megawatts keep their blockchain hardware active and help power repair projects. Once people come in, they can put on their lab coats, gloves, and get to work on things like circuitry.
The training that the local folks can get there, they can take with that anywhere they go.
Folks like Adora Rogers, who moved from the Philippines and now has a large arsenal of skills.
I am not just an HR director. One day I'm in the office doing an HR work, and then the next day I'll be back in the warehouse welding. And then the next day I'll be in the repair room learning about circuit boards.
The company plans to be able to repair projects en masse while bringing new skills to eastern Kentucky.
The room to grow for everybody, we get to be trained to learn more and more about technologies.
Leaders say they want to give people degrees through training and not just lessons. In Letcher County, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
Mohawk Energy is located at the industrial park in Jenkins in what Mayor Todd Dupree says was built as a spec building. With Kentucky being an open carry state since July of 2019, it is important people understand the laws of when one can and cannot use a firearm. Dale Hanlon, who works part-time at Airport Gardens Gun and Pawn in Perry County, teaches a class about the rules and regulations of concealed carry. Hanlon started teaching these courses in 2010 and says the focus is to show people how to be safe and know your rights.
You know, owning the firearms is a great responsibility, and this will teach you basic fundamental safety, and like I said, it will teach you when you can and cannot legally use deadly force.
The course will be held on September 30th at 9 a.m. and requires a $25 non-refundable deposit. We'll have more on the course and the importance of these classes tonight at 11. A Monticello man is behind bars following a traffic stop. Monticello PD conducted the traffic stop just after 9 o'clock last night on Ridgewood Avenue. It was for a traffic violation. Deputies received complaints of harassment and threatening earlier in the evening. They were able to recognize the white Toyota that had matched the description of what they were looking for. 37-year-old Jason Piercy was charged with DUI, among others. Manchester police say they arrested a man on a warrant. Police say they caught David Arnett yesterday. He's accused of taking things from a storage building at the Cross Mount campgrounds earlier this month. He's now in the Clay County Jail. He's charged with burglary, theft, and criminal trespassing. A Lexington man is facing charges following a police chase in southern Kentucky. It happened last Saturday on US 25W near the KFC in Corbin. 21-year-old Jesse Collier took off after a Corbin police officer tried to pull him over for a traffic stop. After Collier got on to US 25 East towards I-75, police say he went off the side of the road and crashed. He was taken into custody without incident afterwards. Collier was charged with DUI, among others. A London man was arrested after trying to get away from police. Laurel County Sheriff's deputies detained 44-year-old Bobby Belcher last Friday off Helvetia Road, about 3 miles north of London. Police say Belcher reportedly got away from them after they conducted a welfare check. Belcher was charged with fleeing or evading police. He was also charged on a Laurel District Court bench warrant for failure to appear in court on charges of theft by unlawful taking.
Well, the weather does not get much better for September the 19th. Check out these current temperatures. Middle to lower 70s from London to Hazard to Pikeville. Also watching out for plenty of blue sky back in the distance. So a fantastic evening is on tap across our region. Most of us right now in the middle to upper 70s, a few lower 70s as well, and a few upper 60s in Southwest Virginia. So we are tracking some very comfortable temperatures, also some low dew points, and that will continue as we go into tonight. Those lows back in the middle to lower 50s as you wake up on Wednesday. So once again, a fall-like morning on the way as you wake up and walk out the door on Wednesday. But we are tracking some changes as some warmer weather is on the way by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And as high pressure sits over the mountains, that means we are tracking a stretch of some drier weather before a few rain chances by late Sunday, also into next week. Those details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Cameron, thank you. Kentucky's Supreme Court heard arguments today on gerrymandering. The Democrats believe Republicans violated the state constitution when setting new district lines. The congressional district and state house district maps are at the center of the lawsuit. Districts which define the area an elected official represents are adjusted every 10 years by the legislature to reflect changes in population and often favor the party in power.
You know, our Constitution asks us to pay homage to the proposition that counties shall not be split. We all agree that no longer works. It doesn't matter if the Democrats did it when, then, and now you are doing it now, but it just no longer works.
Republicans maintain they follow the law. Their lawyers argue it is just a Democratic reaction to being in the super minority. He is remembered for leaving a mark on the state, from improving health care, ethics reforms, and making sure the state capitol was involved when issues of the state's signature horse racing industry were considered. Brereton Jones was Kentucky's governor from 1991 to 1995. As a horse breeder, he would push the importance of horse racing both in Kentucky and beyond its borders. WYMT's Phil Pendleton spoke to people today who says Jones's legacy will be felt on the racetracks and barns for years to come.
Several years after Brereton Jones left the governor's mansion, advocates say that a need was seen to have more said about the horse industry at the state capitol.
Governor Jones thought it was always important to have all breeds represented and not just the Kentucky Thoroughbred.
The Kentucky Equine Education Project was born.
Horse racing.
Case Clay is its current chairman. He had known Brereton Jones nearly all his life.
Well, I actually grew up down the road from him. He used to sometimes drive me and his kids to school in a carpool.
Jones served as chairman of KEEP's board of directors until 2011. He's credited with helping make key policy changes to benefit horse breeders, trainers, and enthusiasts, along with starting the Kentucky Breeders Incentive Fund and historical horse racing.
And he was very influential in getting representation in all 120 counties in Kentucky to represent the horse industry.
He's seen as a champion for the horse industry, but friends say that he was also just a very down-to-earth person.
Current and past, he was always a selfless man. He was all about the state of Kentucky. In our thoroughbred industry, he was always about the Kentucky horse, not just thoroughbreds, but all breeds.
In Lexington, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Governor Jones and his wife Libby also founded Archery Stud near Midway, and 17 horses bred there participated in the Breeders' Cup World Championships.
Well, we are comfortable into this evening, but some warmer weather is on the way by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Those details coming up. Plus,
Alley Fest 2023 is on the calendar with plans to fill Paintsville with music for the third year.